Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Wave. I'm joined by Isaac Popper. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe, donate to the collective so we can help out our Tulane athletic program. Today we have a super exciting episode. We're joined by Nick Anderson. He was a linebacker at Tulane. He was part of the biggest turnaround, single season turnaround in college football history. Cotton Bowl champion, CFL's most outstanding rookie. Last season, he had 111 tackles, including 5 on special teams, plus 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. Thank you so much for joining us, Nick. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank y'all for having me on the show, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited to have you. I guess this is kind of our first episode with a Tulane legend. Normally, we just talk to the current players and coaches, but when a, a Tulane alumni wins a big award like the CFL's Most Outstanding Rookie, I had to shoot you a text. So I'm glad you could join us. Um, I guess first, kind of walk us through your journey to the CFL and how you landed with the Edmonton Elks and what's led to such amazing success for you in year one there.
Yeah, man, most definitely. The first time I heard about the CFL was last year. I received a text. I want to say the day after I got cut from the Saints. I received a text from one of the scouts, and the scouts was like, sorry that things didn't go over with the Saints. I really was rooting for you to make the roster. However, I'm up here with the Edmonton Elks, and we would love to have you if you want to come and continue playing. And at the time, so many things when it comes to NFL are up in the air. So I still was very optimistic about getting another opportunity, either with the Saints again later in the season or with a different NFL team. And so I kind of put the CFL opportunity in my back pocket and kind of waited throughout the season, kept training each and every day, staying ready for an opportunity. And then once the CFL season ended, Coach Jones, Chris Jones at the time, he was the head coach for Edmonton. He came down and met me. And when he met me, he just explained to me the ins and outs of the CFL. He explained to me the opportunity and really just kind of put a face to a name. And then even then, I was still looking at the UFL, looking at opportunities here in the States, still a little undecided when it came to the CFL, simply because I had never been out of the country before. I had never left out of the South before. So I was a little skeptical about it at first. And also being from Mississippi and the CFL not really being shown down here in the States, you're just uneducated of the opportunity that it is. And so once the UFL did the merger and they cut the teams from 16 to 8, there was limited spots. A lot of the 8 teams had already had their roster set. They already had the guys that they were going to get. And at that point, it was like, okay, if I want to continue to play football, then I have to go up to the CFL. And so I kind of embraced the opportunity, even though it was uncharted territory. I looked at it optimistically. I remember, just wondering what that journey would be like. And I'll never forget the day I signed my contract. The day before, I went to Drake concert in New Orleans, and it's really crazy because Drake is from Canada. So went to a Drake concert and I'm sitting at the concert, and I'll never forget J. Cole doing the excerpt of Love Yours and him just talking about, you gotta love your journey, you gotta love your life, how, your journey, your life is a gift. And that really just resonated with me. And it just hit me, man, like, this is a part of your journey. This is a part of your life. You only one person can say that they went to Vicksburg High School and they went to Jones Community College and transferred to Tulane, won the Cotton Bowl and all this. And this is just another part of that. So embrace it, take advantage of this opportunity. And from that day forward, I put my eyes on May 6th, which was my report date. And I just started working even harder, man, and hit the ground running when I got up to Canada.
That's awesome, Nick. We're so happy for you and your journey so far. Looking forward to seeing what's next. It's funny you mentioned Drake because I remember that I felt like the song of the Cotton Bowl season was the Where You At song by Drake.
Facts. It was. It was, man. It was.
I know that you like to play that song and the team really rallied behind it. What is your pregame routine and what songs are you listening to this season in Canada? Because it was another incredible season for you.
Most definitely, man. This year in Canada, my go-to songs, really I had go-to artists. I'll say Gunna. He was up there. Big X the Plug was up there, and actually NBA YoungBoy was up there. And I haven't really been an NBA YoungBoy fan since high school, but listening to NBA YoungBoy to try to get you in that last little pregame zone before you hit the field, it really just gets you right. But Big X the Plug, Gunna, NBA YoungBoy was all my go-to artists throughout the season. My pregame ritual really just depends on if it's a home or away game. It changes just a little bit. But if it's a home game, then I sleep in, wake up. I sleep until about 10 o'clock. Then I wake up. I cook myself breakfast. I cut on the Tulane football game if they're playing, if I could get it, because I was up in Canada. So it would take me a little minute to try to get the VPN good so I can watch Tulane play. But I'll sit there and I'll watch the Tulane game. And then after that, I'll go sit on my balcony in the apartment that I had. I'll just do a little, manifestation, a little talking to God, a little one-on-one time, getting my mind right. And then I put my clothes on, shower and stuff, and then I head to the stadium. And then once I get to the stadium, we'll walk in. I like to lay out all of my stuff, exactly what I'm wearing, hang up my jersey, and then I take a picture of it and I post it on Instagram, and just said, blessed to see another work day. Because, I just look at every opportunity that I get to play another game, another opportunity I get to walk in the locker room and do something that I love. It's a blessing, because a lot of people wish they were doing that. And then after that, I go get the cold tub, hot tub, get warmed up. And then when I go out for pregame warm-ups, we do that whole ordeal. And then we come in. And before we go out again, I always call my mom and we do a prayer. And so that's my pregame ritual for home games. And the only thing that changes in away games is as soon as I get to the stadium, I put all my stuff down, put my headphones in, and I go walk around the field and just manifest. That's my manifest time, my prayer time. Just do a little lap around the field, and I go back in the locker room, and then, like I said before, I run out one final time. I call mom and we get a prayer in, and that's my pregame rituals.
Love it. You mentioned a little bit going from JUCO to Tulane. I wanted to talk just a little bit about that. Coming out of JUCO, you were a 2-star prospect, which obviously that was bullshit. So shows how much the ratings matter. But you committed to South Alabama originally, then got the Tulane offer, flipped the commitment to Tulane. Rest is history. What kind of went into that decision there?
Just overall, South Alabama, their coaching staff was at the University of Central Arkansas when I was coming out of high school. So coming out of high school, I had a lot of FCS offers. I had great academics, which is why I was able to get into Tulane. But, I just wanted to bet on myself. I felt like I was under recruited coming out of high school, and I just wanted to give myself another opportunity to get some more film out there and get another shot at it. I looked at it as, worst case scenario, I have the same offers that I have now a year later. And when I got to Jones, the first team that offered me was South Alabama. They offered me actually before I played a snap because that coaching staff already knew my capabilities. And so definitely was grateful for those guys. It was a tough decision to tell those guys no because those were the only team in the beginning that really believed in me. So it was tough to tell those guys no because I promise you, they called me the Wednesday before I played my first game and gave me an offer. And so that was a pretty dope ordeal. And over the course of the season, I just gained interest from so many schools. Tulane didn't come until later on in the season. At the end of the season, I still was committed to South Alabama, but it really came down to Tulane, and then Ole Miss came in and gave me an offer. But when I went on my visit to Ole Miss, I just didn't feel the genuineness. I didn't feel that I would be the guy. I didn't feel that, I would really be somebody that could really be used the way I wanted to be used. And I went on my Tulane visit and it was the complete opposite. Coach Fritz, Coach Mooch, everybody was loving, caring, everybody was genuine. I could see the discipline that Coach Fritz was trying to instill in the program. I could see that program was on the rise, and I could see the opportunity that would be ahead of me that I would receive to come in and make a difference. And so at that point, the rest was history, man. The rest was history. And what's crazy is when I got recruited to Ole Miss, Coach Sumrall was the linebacker coach. That's a crazy thing. That just shows how everything comes around full circle, man.
It's been some great history for Tulane. They're going to their third straight conference championship after that 2-10 season. I know that you were one of the main believers, if not the main believer, of a turnaround that became, as John said, the greatest single season turnaround in college football history. But now it's been 3 straight years, not just that 1 year of success and going to the conference championship, winning once, hopefully a second time this season. What do you believe are the main forces behind Tulane's now sustained success?
Just overall having the right guys in position to run the team and run the, I was about to say organization, but just run the football program. Coach Sumrall is a dynamic coach. I don't feel like they could have found a better coach after Coach Frisch left than Coach Sumrall. It's just the way that he approaches the game, his mentality, his tenacity. He played the game very recently compared to other coaches around college football. So he understands the new era that we're in. He understands what it takes to really grasp the attention of the guys and really grasp their motivation, their determination. They also have a great strength and conditioning program. A lot of people don't realize that the majority of the time spent isn't with the coaches, is with the other players under the strength staff. And so for them to have a great strength staff and Coach Witt, and I mean that was the key for us. Coach Hester being the great guy that he is and motivating us and building that toughness, building that edge through the offseason. And then I paid attention, like the past 2 years, they've had a great offseason. They had great preparation. You know, the games aren't won in the fall. The games are won in January, in March, April, May, you know, the summer workouts. That's when the games are won. And so I feel like what's been able to sustain the program is having guys in place to really build the team and sustain the players in the off season, and that's why when the season come around, Tulane has been on top.
I feel like a lot of people talk obviously about the 12-2 Cotton Bowl season, rightfully so. I have kind of a two-part question here. So, in order to have the biggest turnaround in college football history, you have to have a pretty bad season the year before, right? But we all saw the next year that maybe the 2-10 record wasn't representative of the talent on that team. So I'm curious as to what happened that season. How was Tulane 2-10? And then, people talk about, oh, it was the hurricane or some guys developed a lot over the next offseason. But what happened that made that talented team 2-10? And then what changed in order to lead to the success the next season?
Well, everything that could have went wrong that season went wrong, and then I want you to take everything that went wrong that could have went wrong, and then double it by two. Everything was, man, drastic that year. I'm a man of faith, and so there's a Bible verse that says there's a time for winning, there's a time for losing, there's a time for up, there's a time for downs, and that was just our time for being down, man. Because when I say from guys getting hurt, injured, to the hurricane, to people dealing with family stuff outside of football that was, for instance, my sister was in a bad car accident the second day we was in Birmingham. So it was just so much going on for the players on and off the field that the fact that we won 2 games really says a lot. The fact that we competed in multiple games, and I think we only lost maybe 2 or 3 games by more than 14 points, says a lot. And it just shows the culture. Like I said, Coach Fritz built a culture at that school. He built a culture based on trust, based on commitment, dedication, and that's what was able to excel us the next year. Because you're looking at a team that, like you said, had the talent. Could have beat Cincinnati when they were number 2, could have beat Oklahoma when they were number 2. Really fought and played against some quality teams and was down to the wire when it came to the fourth quarter. We had interest from other schools. Dorian had schools hitting him up. I had schools hitting me up. Pratt had people reaching out. Sincere had people reaching out. And those are your 4 captains. And so that December, I'll never forget sitting in the bowling alley on a recruiting visit. And I'm sitting there like, man, I really could have been on a visit this this weekend going checking out another school, but I'm sitting here, hosting these guys, and I'm really contemplating on whether or not, I'm coming back. And I'll never forget Coach Hampton, our defense coordinator at the time, was sitting beside me, and we were watching Baylor play against Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship. And PJ Hall played at Tulane, and he was on the staff at Baylor at the time, and Baylor won. And Coach Hemp looked at me, he was like, man, that could have been us. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking the same thing. Like we were in every game. Like there's no way that we can't win this conference. And Coach Ham was like, We can do it, Nick. We can do it. But he said, y'all gonna have to do it. Y'all gonna have to do it. He said, and that's how he talked. Y'all gonna have to do it. It's nothing that I can do. It's not no magical plays that I can call. Y'all gotta do it. Y'all gotta take this team and y'all gotta go out there and do it. And that really resonated with me. I went home that day and I really just thought about that for the rest of the day. And I remember texting the captains in a group chat on Snapchat. And I texted guys and I was like, we're not leaving. We're gonna do it at Tulane. Like we're gonna get together. We're gonna compile a list of everything that you all feel like is wrong with the team or things that we need to fix, and we're gonna have a team meeting day one, and we're gonna stand on these principles. Whatever we put on this board is what's gonna be golden, and we're gonna live by this until the end of the season. And we put everything on there. Not being late to meetings, not showing up to class check, bedroom check, paying attention in meetings, not missing anything, making it mandatory to just handle your business. Like we dotted every I, crossed every T, and put it up there. And we had a team meeting, and the team meeting was pretty harsh. It was some things said in that team meeting. We let the players speak. It was some words passed, but at the end of the day, you know, we wanted to win. The captain set that standard, and the guys just knew what they wanted. We knew we wanted to win, and that's what we were determined to do. And we stood on that. We said that the goal was to win a conference championship. The goal isn't to go 500 or win 6 games, make a bowl game. We've done that. The goal is to win this conference. And the whole offseason, we just attacked it. And like I said, Coach Hester came on staff, and he kind of had that same mentality. And to have a strength coach back you up on that, and you guys make that determining edge day in, day out, day in, day out. By the time the coaches got back in the end of the summer and it was time to start training camp, everybody was hardwired. Oh, we're winning the conference championship. And so when we went out there and played UMass, when we went out there and played Alcorn, when we went out there and played Kansas State, and we started to win and we started to see what it felt like, the more real it became. And so at this point, it's like, oh, it's automatic. Like, we're not losing. And so I feel like that's the only difference between, our team and the teams that came after us. We went through that 2-10 year. So we knew what it was like to be on the other side of it. And so we just knew like that wasn't happening to us again. And so that what separated us specifically from going 2-10 to the Cotton Bowl year, because it was like, I don't want to feel like I did last year. And then that was the mentality of everybody. And so we went out there and we played like it, man, and we fought hard. We didn't have on paper, we wasn't the best team. We didn't have the best team on paper, but we played with heart. We played with determination to get achieve the goal that we set out to get. And it's a Cinderella story, man. I love telling it and just blessed to be a part of it. I'm just blessed to be a part of it for real.
A magical, magical story, Nick. Thanks for taking us through it. That was awesome. I do agree with you. A lot of close games in the 2-10 season. I'll always remember that homecoming game against Tulsa. Still
Oh
not
yeah.
sure what happened and how Tulane lost that, but there was a lot of evidence that Tulane really did have a good team despite going 2-10, a lot better than their record. Obviously, you and an amazing group of captains had a lot of work cut out for them in order to get to that conference championship. Before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, how is it coming back to Tulane? You came back for the Rice game and got to see this Tulane football team play, and especially what you thought of the linebackers.
Man, I really love the linebacker play. I feel like the linebacker group that they have at Tulane right now is really, really deep. Um, they got guys that, okay, one guy go out, another guy come in and doesn't miss a beat, and that's just exciting to see. Exciting to see. I was at Tulane where once you get past the starters, the second string may know the playbook halfway, but now I'm looking at a team that compete with the best of the best. I'm looking at the trenches. I know you asked about the linebackers, but I'm looking at the trenches where you have O linemen that are really just getting after it. You got D linemen that are loaded, getting after it. You can really see the development of the program because you can see the depth of the players, and you can see that these guys are being coached. These guys are being prepared to get in the game and not miss a beat. And so to just be an alum and be somebody that in a way prayed for this to be the dynasty that Tulane could have, and to see it all coming forth, it just makes me happy, man. It makes me proud. I text the guys that I played with and even the guys that I didn't get the chance to play with, but I know personally, and I congratulate them all the time because, I know what it's like to wear that wave on your helmet. I know what it's like to, go out there and play for the city of New Orleans, play for Tulane University, and to see you guys carrying a torch that, me, Dorian, Pratt, Larry Brooks, Macon Clark, Sincere, all of us lit to see you guys continue to carry on that legacy, that dynasty. Man, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Isaac, I think you have a question about a specific player on Tulane's front seven for Nick that you were saying you wanted to ask.
Yeah, curious about Sam Howard. He leads the country in fumble recoveries right now.
Man, he's a dynamic player. I was able to meet him. I went to a practice. I haven't been able to really sit down and pick his brain and have a conversation with him. I would love to do that one day and just talk ball. But to just see his mannerisms and the way that he approaches the game, how serious he is, how dedicated he is to his craft, is just a sight to see, man. He reminds me of me when it comes to the seriousness that he takes in being that leader, being an example. And you can just see it when the way that he plays, man. Like, he just takes the reins, and you could tell that he's one of them people that is grateful for opportunity. Like myself, I came from junior college, so when I got to Tulane, hey, you couldn't tell me I wasn't in Alabama because I'm looking at like, man, I'm playing FBS ball. I know what it's like to be in junior college and not have these opportunities. And now that I'm on this level, I'm not taking it for granted. And I can see that in Sam's game. Being a guy that got an opportunity to make a name for himself on the FCS level and work his way up and get to playing on the FBS level, especially the way that Tulane is now. To him, he playing at LSU, he playing at Alabama. He could play with the best of the best because that's where Tulane is now. And so I could just see how passionate he is about taking advantage of his opportunity each time that he plays, and it's just exciting to see, man. I'm glad that guy's doing his thing.
I got one more question for you, Nick. We're appreciative of your time. We're appreciative of everything you've done for Tulane football. Obviously, the program wouldn't be where it is today without you. I'm sure everyone wants to know what's next for Nick Anderson. What do you got going on?
um, Just training, man, because despite everything, I'm going to be playing football somewhere next year, whether it's in the NFL or again in the CFL. And just blessed. I'm really grateful to God to be playing this game. I'm a big man of faith, like I said. And just what's next is just getting prepared, for the opportunities ahead of me. I probably will have some opportunities down south with the NFL and, you know, gonna have some CFL opportunities. So really just taking advantage of those. And then outside of that, I've started community outreach program called Furthering Athletes First through Hope, Faith, the acronym. And so really just getting that up and running this off season, really trying to get more out there with community engagement, and because that's something that's very dear to my heart, being able to give back, being able to motivate, being able to really just inspire people. And so that's really what my off season is going to consist of, just me personally getting better each and every way I can, mentally, spiritually, physically, and also me helping others, man, in any way I can through faith. And so really just excited to see what's in store. Blessed in all kinds of ways for what's happened, what's happening now, and what's to happen in the future, and just grateful, man.
We appreciate you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining. If you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. You're a top percent of Tulane fans. Make sure you like, subscribe, donate to the collective. Roll wave.
Roll wave, man. Faith.
Roll wave.